I'll tell you when.
Okay, tell me when.
Says we are live, Scott. What are you going to want to ask me?
Well, so I was going to ask you because you don't have cable, correct? You just have the Roku.
Yeah, the Roku and internet,
Can
which is
you
a lot.
get over? Can you get over-the-air television channels on your TV?
I just get whatever they provide. Whatever people are
Antenna. I
trying.
mean, yeah, you can get broadcast television.
I get local news. Usually not
Okay.
live, but there is instances where you can get live. Yeah.
Do you ever watch Me TV?
MeTV, yeah. Well, I've watched it in the past, but I'm not sure they have anything on Roku for MeTV, do they?
No, you'd have to go to the broadcast channel. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
52.3 or something like
That's what
that.
I thought. There was a couple of pirate guys trying to, send MeTV through their little homemade Roku channels, but that didn't
Oh
last
yeah.
too long.
No, but you can watch it on broadcast for free.
Oh, you can.
Yes, yes, it's a digital channel in Oklahoma City. It's like 53.2 or something like that.
I never
I
had got
say,
that to work. I have because
oh,
it's still antenna digital, right?
yes,
Yeah,
you have to have a
yeah,
tuner.
yeah, exactly.
So you don't have a tuner.
No,
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
well,
Well, I
that's
was
it.
gonna say, so I was gonna say, um, I've been watching Spenguli.
Yeah,
So
those are good.
My friend Dan, who's been on the show, who's the writer of the Black Cricket, which I'm currently drawing.
Huh?
Uh, he always puts what's coming out up, what the movie is on Spenguli, and this weekend it's the Mole People, which I've never seen.
Oh yeah, I used to have the Warren Comics
Okay,
Fumetti of the Mole People. Yeah,
really?
sure. Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, I think I've still got that.
Get out of
I
here! Of all the
no,
things you've
I
owned
don't
and
still
lost,
I don't still have it. I actually uh,
scan.
got it from eBay,
Oh, okay. So
so I've got a copy of
wow.
it. Or
See,
do
I've
I
never.
have? You know what I may have, and this is interesting. This is one of those odd. Was it my pick? No, I think it was just a Barry just having pity on me or something like that, and buying that one about the flesh-eating characters that came out of the water. What was the name of that thing that we watched? I had the
Uh,
Fume.
uh, oh, oh God, what was the name of that?
What is the name of that?
Oh God, I
I
don't
love
know.
that thing. I saw that when it came out, of course, and
I remember it was one of your picks that you were like, "Well, that was a lot better when I was a kid."
yeah, forced
But
all you
that's
guys
okay.
to watch it. Well,
Nah,
what was interesting though was the outtakes of that, and I gotta figure this out now. I'll be on another tab here figuring it out. And Wally Wood worked on the Fumetti of it.
get out of here. What do you
Yeah,
do? Take the pictures?
doing the touch ups on the well, for instance, on all of it, they took out that the weird hot dog mouth that the creatures had. You know how odd those.
I've never seen the movie. I'm gonna watch. I'm hoping to watch it Saturday.
Oh, here it is, the horror of Party Beach. Remember that
Oh, I remember that.
the horror of Party Beach, and baby, did we have a good time watching it? But do you remember that they showed the outtake? The guy,
Yeah.
I mean, he's naturally an indie filmmaker. He's only got so much money, and he gets a local biker group to act in his movie, and they have a big wreck. And then they all show up at their house, but all they want to do is see the wreck. Just for entertainment's sake, they want to see them pile up. They aren't
Yeah.
mad about it. They're just a bunch of guys that want to drink a bunch of beers and watch the wreck.
Yep. As biker gangs are wont to do.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny. I forget the name of the producer guy of it, but Yeah, I have. I'm pretty sure I still have the Fumetti of that, and I'm not sure if I've got the Mole People. But then the Mole People, of course, is straight up regular. It's as
Yeah.
legitimate a production as a Creature from the Black Lagoon. Got some of the same people in it.
Oh, really? It's that
Yeah,
good?
yeah, it's oh yeah, it's got John Agar in it. He's not the Creature from the Black Lagoon. He was later, but not in the first one. Um, and it's got the guy that ran the steamboat. He's in it.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. I don't know his
Yeah,
name,
yeah.
of
He's
course.
done a lot. He's done a lot of stuff. He was a go-to guy that was in a lot of stuff back then.
Gotcha. What else is? I was going to ask you something else. I don't know. So we've been talking about this. You've became convinced that I should draw a comic.
Oh yes. Well, you know what the title of our show is today? Is
That had to burn.
That Had to Burn. That's
I
right.
saw it.
With
So
Byrne.
yeah, named after John Byrne. So
Yeah.
Ellis and I have talked because I'm a big John Byrne fan, if I had mentioned it this episode already, and John Byrne was doing a comic book on his web page, or not his, but he there's one page that he frequents, and he it's called Byrne Robotics, um, and which is kind of a pun. Early in his career, when his friend helped him ink on his Charlton books, he would refer to him as Byrne Robotics, because usually it's like one guy would take a page and another guy would take a page, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he but John Byrne drew the X-Men. Well, he left the X-Men in kind of a huff, unhappy with the directions going back in the 80s, and so he kind of he's kind of
Was that was that a
semi-retired.
was that a Chris Claremont thing? The Huff.
Yeah, him and Chris, he was unhappy with the direction Chris Claremont was taking the book.
Mm-hmm.
So recently, a few years ago, before the pandemic, John Byrne basically wanted to see if he could draw like he drew back then. Apparently, it was a little bit. I don't know what the difference is, because artists are funny. I mean, I'll tell somebody I'm gonna completely change my style, and then they go, it looks exactly the same. So, but for however he said, whatever he defines that, he said he was gonna try and draw. Originally, it was just a pin up. The way that, and I think what it is he didn't draw full pencils anymore, hardly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen some pencils on some of his IDW projects, which are some of the latest stuff he'd done, and it was literally like side of the pencil kind of shading stuff.
Yeah.
But he
Sure.
was inking it himself, so it didn't
Uh
matter.
huh. Sure.
So I think I think what he's thinking about is, can he do full pencils?
Mm-hmm.
So he does this project. He does this pinup, and he doesn't just draw a pinup, but he's like, well, I got to do it like a little story. So it's Wolverine fighting Sauron, the flying lizard from the Savage Land,
Mm-hmm.
and so he he does it, and he likes it, and so he kind of comes up with like a little backstory, and he just starts drawing the story. And then one day on his webpage, he posts 5 or 6 pages like, hey, look, and they were lettered. He lettered them, but it was straight pencils.
Uh huh.
And so he did them, and so the thing that you and I have talked about is, well, he's for intents and purposes drawing an X-Men comic
Uh huh.
free of any editorial interference, which
Uh
is
huh.
something he's balked under. But anyway, he did this for like 31 issues, and then you didn't know this, but I was telling you he had cataract surgery last year, and he
Oh.
literally just stopped drawing.
Hmm.
He couldn't draw for a little bit, and then when he went back, he said, I have no desire to, for the first time he said, for the first time in forever, I have no desire to go sit at the board, sit at a desk all day. And he goes, and moreover than that, he said, I've always kept a sketchbook, which when he's in town years ago, I asked him if he kept a sketchbook, and he goes, yeah, I keep a. He told me he kept a sketchbook that he never showed anybody, that he just worked practice stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because he knew anything he did would get scrutinized. So
Right.
and he has said that he would destroy him after he's done with them.
Isn't that
Uh,
amazing? Yeah.
that is amazing when you consider how much it would be worth. But he didn't want people to. Michelangelo did that. He would
Mm-hmm.
destroy a lot of his preliminary drawing stuff because he wanted to see the hard work that he put into it.
Well, you know what? You can't show something like and expect somebody to meet you halfway with their imagination. And your mistake is assuming that people have imaginations.
Yep. Oh, I
And
run into that every day.
oh,
Where
and
people
people
got to see, I can't see that. I mean, they'll
and
email me about the most ridiculous things. Can you
and they
show it
will
to us?
they will
Like this.
yeah, they'll treat in their mind that, oh man, that's awful, that's shabby, whatever, and it'll be no, this is not it, this is 10% of it. And you just can't do that to people. You just have
No,
to
yeah,
you just have to table it until you can show them the thing, even if you're being
yeah,
pressured to show it to them.
yeah. We got to see it now. It's like, well,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
not done. Can I show you Can you approve the rough? And then we'll do. I run it all the time where
yeah.
they'll want artwork, specifically ring artwork, and we're going off nothing. We have no idea
Mm-hmm.
what they actually want. And it's
Yep.
like, can you show us the artwork? And then I'll say, well, here's the manufacturing art. Well, and this is to salespeople, not even the customer.
Oh
It's like,
man.
well, is this what you're going for? Well, don't send me this. Just show me the final 3D presentation artwork. It's like, well, dude, that takes another day.
Yeah,
You're wanting
yeah,
this today, or you're wanting this in 2 days. We could save a lot of time if you just look at this and go, perfect, keep going. You
yeah.
know. But a lot of people don't think like that. Like you say, I lost my ruler.
They they
But
can't.
they can't think
Yeah.
like that. Exactly. So anyway, so you and I have talked about how that would be, I think, for John Byrne, it's kind of the ultimate gig because he's retired. He doesn't have to deal with editors. He's
Mm-hmm.
selling his pages, those original X-Men pages, even though they haven't been published. They're going for a couple $1,000 a piece.
Right.
And John Byrne can draw 3 pages a day. So he's taking his morning, drawing a little bit, drawing a lot, getting a page done, making $3,000, and then going on with his day. But anyway, after his cataract surgery, he has no desire to draw. Doesn't even
That's
draw in his sketchbook. He said he doesn't even draw. Period. So for
hmm.
the first time ever, as long as I remember, I'd have no desire to draw, which is really bizarre in a lot of ways. But whatever. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can't expect somebody to. I mean, I
No,
certainly don't expect him to be at the board all day if he doesn't want to. But it's the idea that he doesn't want to draw is kind of weird to me. But whatever. Again, that's his. It's his life. I was telling you. Apparently now his big thing is he reads a lot. He's always been a big reader, but
mm-hmm.
he talks about doing Lego sets. He buys these whatever it is, different kinds of Lego, which is so funny to
Well,
me.
he may be turning into a 3D guy. I mean, anybody
Well, he's
that's
done 3D.
yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's done a lot of 3D modeling over the years.
Oh well.
He uses a Blender,
Yes. I
your favorite.
I need to get back into that. I mean, I shouldn't just say because my limitations aren't allowing me to use the exact grease pencil I would like to use. I should stay on top of my Blender learning. I dropped it, and it's kind of stupid. Well, it's just anything you do, anything you decide you're going to do, you should have almost like a daily discipline for doing it. Get a little bit of it in.
I agree. Well, so anyway, so we've talked about how this would be like the ultimate. It's like you're working you're working on a Marvel comic on characters that this guy obviously loves. No editorial interference, making more than he would on a page rate.
Hmm.
Anyway, and so you told me, you said, why don't you do something like that? And I thought, you know what, I probably will. Now, this goes into, well, first off, I'm working on the Black Cricket, so I don't know if Dan's listening, but if Dan is listening, I'm on this for the duration.
Right.
But we've talked about how I'm not going to work forever,
Right.
and there are things that will. I don't know. I think I'm going to be. It's going to be sooner rather than later before I leave the working world.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I have some other stuff going on,
Mm-hmm.
But the idea. So you said you do your own thing or whatever, and I told you I said I would do. My book would be, I think I said Avengers '83 or something like that. Because that, and I would do, because I when I was thinking about it, I thought, well, Avengers is kind of the ultimate Marvel book because you can cycle in other people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's,
Oh yeah.
but I had it. I decided my first issue is going to be something a little different because I've told you that I've really the ultimate in my mind, the ultimate Marvel character is Ben Grimm, the Thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Oh,
I think
I just drew the thing. That's weird.
I saw that you were drawing him, and I didn't say that because anyway, so I've decided that so I'm going to take my emphasis away from the Avengers, and I think I'm going to call it like Marvel 77 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Hey,
actually a
hey,
band
you
called.
could, you know what? A guy could invent his own grouping if, on something like what we're talking about, which is, not even trying to publish it, just, do it for your own, like say, this is what I always wanted to do was work for Marvel
Yeah.
and produce stuff from that universe and then just sell it as originals if it comes down to selling it at all
Right.
in terms of money you see for it. And believe me, probably you would see more money for selling those originals than you have seen in your career as an indie comic book guy.
Yeah. Well, considering I have not got paid for my comic,
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
and I mean I've made a little bit of money here and there, but I'm not doing. I mean, here's the thing. I got a
mm-hmm,
good day job,
mm-hmm,
so if I'm not too worried. I'm not worried about the money. I'm worried more. I mean, because at one point the thing was like, well, I want to get hired by Marvel or DC, or I want to work in mainstream comics. But the fact is that I look at mainstream comics and they hurt my eyes, Ellis. I look at them
mm-hmm.
and I'm like, God, this art looks horrible. Everybody looks so. They look like Calvin Klein underwear models. They just
Uh-huh.
look very. They have a very non. To me, it looks very. They look very non-heroic,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I don't want to draw that. I don't. This. I mean, no, and it's not that. It's just like that's not how I draw. So it's like, well, I don't think they'd hire me anyway because I don't draw like all their books are.
Oh, there's so many things that would have to come together to get hired by Marvel these days in terms of like things you probably don't even have and couldn't invent for yourself
Well, I mean,
to have.
we could talk about what they look for in a
Yeah.
candidate, which is probably not an elderly man in his. I mean, not that I'm accusing them of being sexist, ageist, anything like that. I think that they primarily look. I don't know. It wouldn't be worth my time. I don't think they'd pay me enough to be, you
No.
know. No, 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 no. I couldn't quit my day job, and I think there would be an expectation of, well, you can't work for us or work for,
Mm-hmm.
they'd want you available during the day. And I mean, it's just, why put myself through that? Now, don't get me wrong. If I tomorrow I get the call and they're like, oh, I want you to come, I would do it. No, well, depending on what book they were offering me, but I mean,
I laugh because it's like, what book? I, you know what? Everything, all of my attempts that I ever had for samples and all that, I've got to admit, I just did not do due diligence on knowing the characters before I ever even attempted samples. I just said, okay, he looks like that, huh? I can kind of get in the ballpark on that.
I can
And
half-ass that.
yeah, I can half-ass that exactly. I didn't do any sort of deep dive on knowing any character I did a sample of, and just like everything, you can be half-assed if you so choose.
Well, at
But
one
you
time, I know.
and you know people that succeed. They are people that come along and they will have done the deep dive. They know everything about this character they've done. They got a passion for having created.
And not the character like it was, 30 years ago when I was reading it and enjoyed
Right.
it. But what they're like, oh well, I know all the current X-Men or whatever, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly. Oh yeah,
I
yeah. That's
don't
what
know,
you have.
Cyclops still on the team.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, anyway, so you have kind of told me, oh, you should do this, which is really way I was kind of headed because I was doing my takeoff of a Marvel book when I kind of got
Right.
approached by Dan about doing the Black Cricket,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Don't do that because obviously you don't want to do a semi satire of a Marvel book. You want to do what you always thought you wanted to do. You
yeah,
know,
oh, absolutely,
make it
absolutely,
come true. Basically, is what you're doing. You're making something come true when you do it the Byrne retirement way.
yeah. Anyway, so that's my thought. I mean, and I don't know, and again, if Dan listens to this, I'm not saying I'm quitting the. I mean, I'm in on the Black Cricket because to me it's a fun book, and Dan is very kind and allows me to draw pretty much how I want to draw. He's had very few. I apologize to him. I didn't even send him thumbnails on this origin that I'm doing right now, but I'm doing an origin, and I'll be honest. I don't know if Dan is listening, but I've really struggled the last couple of weeks since our dog has passed away.
Mhm.
I got out of the I'm doing this every day, and it's taken me a little bit to get back. But last night I had a really good night drawing. I was happy with everything I did. I thought this page is coming out really good. Um, you know, and so I'm hoping to knock this out because I think when I get this, he's gonna pitch it to some people when this 2-page origin gets finished. Anyway, so I'm hoping that it does well because I enjoy this. I mean, I'd rather work with somebody anyway. And that's one thing I do like about drawing comics is like, oh man, you get to work with people. I mean, I've worked with a lot of different writers, and I gotta honestly say there's not any of them that I was like I wouldn't work with them again. Now
Mhm.
there's some of them that the project didn't. Well, no, there's one. There is one writer that wouldn't work. I'm not gonna say who it is, but there's one I would not work with again but not the project went poorly, and not anybody's listening to this. So if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, oh, okay, not I don't know the it was they weren't fully invested in the project, and it kind of showed in the end result, and they
Well,
changed some stuff behind my back that I didn't like.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're
Yeah.
talking
So
about.
yeah. This was I don't want to talk too much about it, but
Okay.
it was not. I can guarantee the writer's not listening. There's absolutely. I haven't talked to him since the project. Um,
Well, of course, we had a local, that PBS thing that came out where it showed a lot of local Okie creators. I guess what was it? It was Jerry Bennett and
oh yeah, I haven't watched that yet.
I haven't watched it yet either, but I just know it exists because I even have it. I have it downloaded, and And on a thumb drive, I can watch it anytime. But I just haven't done it. I've got I still haven't watched
Well,
Coraline after I finished the audiobook. I wanted to double make sure I watched that freshly after I watched or listened to the audiobook. Uh, Look at these. These are well, you can't see too well in terms of like working and
no,
looking up.
I got my TV on in front of me.
Okay, well, I've got cell vinyl, the cartoon color cell vinyl. You literally cannot buy this stuff anymore. This is like
Where'd you get that?
having buggy whips. I bought it while I lived in Culver City because, by golly, you could. Well, is that true? Wait a second. Yeah, Cartoon Color was right there because, of course, they were servicing the Hollywood people of the animation industry.
I got you.
And also the Foster books. I took about 30 minutes or on one of my many walkabouts, and I could be at the Foster books headquarters.
Really?
Yeah, is that what I mean to say? Foster books? Yeah, the ones on the education books, the digest size art education books.
No. You're thinking of Dover.
No, I'm thinking of
Foster did the big.
Yes, the big ones.
Okay, that's Foster. Yes.
Yeah.
I can guarantee I got one of their books around here.
Yeah, they got some good books. I mean, before they finally figured out they needed to reprint all the Loomis, all the Loomis books. They were one of the only places you could find some good Loomis stuff that was still being put out.
Oh, that's right, because I've got one of those somewhere. He did a How to Draw Women one or something.
Yeah.
Or it was. I don't know if he did it or it was cold from his material or what. But
it was just cold. They had a couple of, I think, Loomis material books.
I think so. It seemed like there was a women one, and I think a heads one maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
but anyway, this.
Oh,
I just wanted to say real quick about this.
So, what'd you buy the cell vinyl for?
Well, ages ago, I've got about 10 of these that go from black to white and all these shades of gray in between, and that just gives me the ability. And now it gives me the ability to use them to do. Basically seal those backer boards I've got that I'm painting on gouache. I can do a complete comp in gray and then paint over it in gouache, and I'll be following how James Gurney basically works. He initially comes in with acrylic and does a couple of big color, he'll just seal the whole page of his sketchbook, and then he paints with gouache, which is much more forgiving, can be reactivated and all that, but is opaque. So whatever color you seal the page in with your acrylic, and if I'm just sealing it in grays, it's just a quick value study that I go over with color on. So it's kind of exciting. I just stepped off, and I realized I was just being way too much of a skinflint on not buying some good acrylics. So I bought some good acrylics from Liquitex, and those are coming here. I guess they'll probably be here tomorrow. You order these things. And that's it. I'm painting, still continuing to paint and digging it.
Very cool.
Yeah. What else were you trying to say? And I kept like saying, "Hey, I'm doing this."
No. I was just gonna say. So anyway, so out of that, the whole John Byrne thing, you said, "Oh, you should do this," and I've been kind of, because I've thought a lot lately about, especially after Heaven's Rejects kind of didn't do near, didn't go. They opted to not print it in a trade and all this kind of stuff. And they just sank, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna not get paid and not have stuff make anything, I should make what I want to make.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why I've kind of been lately doing, I was
The only
doing my own thing.
oh, look, Fly Fox Foe says he's sorry he's late. Uh, that's cool, Fly Fox. It's just nice to have someone listen to me. But
Yeah.
in terms of like the only cautionary thing that somebody else would go ahead and give you is like, yeah, but Scott, you can't make money on that. And I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
but I
not
don't
telling.
care
I'm
about
not
that.
yeah, exactly. I'm not telling you that because I know for you, if you only did just one issue of something that was beyond samples for Marvel, if you did something where you used the power of your imagination to imagine you were working for Marvel and doing something that came from that era, you might find that to be the most satisfying thing you ever did in your life. And
Oh, absolutely. I
you
mean, I'm
know,
enjoying this black cricket,
yeah.
and not there's no, I have no promise of anything.
Hmm.
I mean, I think that Dan is a stand-up guy, and I think he has some connections, and maybe we got places where we might take it, but
Hmm.
um, in terms of like what I'm, making money, I don't, I mean, I got a good day job. I'm okay. I don't need to, I don't need to do. I can afford to do, what I want to do. This
Hmm.
and if it's a hobby, it's a hobby, and that's okay. And but I'm doing, you know, I'm drawing the kind of comics that I would want to draw. And so your suggestion was so I'm doing Black Cricket, but your suggestion was, hey, maybe you should do like the John Byrne thing, which is kind of where I was headed.
Hmm.
Um, but I was making like fate, but you're like, nah, do Avengers, do X-Men,
Yeah.
do. So I thought about it, and I like. I've told you a while back. I always like the Thing because to me it was always kind of like the Oscar Madison of the, you know, of the
Well, what
Marvel universe.
I just wrote this piece of advice to Nasser, who's been on this show actually to
Oh
where we
yeah,
could actually hear him, uh, actually physically present on the show. And I just wrote him a piece of advice that he probably, because his characters tend to be, oh, I just call them shallow. You just don't get into anything about them. And I said, why don't you try some fan fiction? I mean, a guy, here he is writing all these mysteries and all that. Go ahead and give a shot at writing your own Holmes and Watson. You could actually publish that thing. Told him gave him a caution about publishing it. Obviously, he's going to get nothing but hatred from anybody that
right.
reviews it or anything. But the exercise of doing fan fiction for characters and trying to, bring those characters back to life through your own little bit of storytelling. And that could do a lot for a guy, in terms of
Well,
writing. Like I mentioned last week, Hunter Thompson, no less, thought it was important enough for his growth to transcribe F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby,
yeah,
just because he would absorb from writing every word down, you know.
yeah. So anyway, I've decided that now I'm not going to work on this other than maybe some light writing,
Mm-hmm.
but I've decided my first foray into the well, first off, I've decided not to limit it to a particular book. There's and also there's a band out there called Marvel 83, and they do kind of retro electronics. It's called synthwave kind of stuff.
Huh. Cool.
And I discovered them through YouTube. I don't know how popular they are or not or whatever, but anyway, so I thought, well, I think I could call my book Marvel 77 because that was kind of the era of Marvel that I liked. And I'll start off with the Thing and do a Thing, and the Destroyer is
The
the robot
Destroyer.
that fought the
Yes.
Thor.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
kind of the metal banded with the no face.
Yes.
I think my first story is gonna be a Thing and Destroyer story, because to me that's a
That
very,
it's a very attractive character design that you're drawn to, just like you are the Thing, and his cool, everything about the Thing is cool. I think
yeah,
everybody digs a, a sympathetic, empathetic Frankenstein monster. And of course, Walt with Kirby being the guy who did the character design. It's like, oh yeah, that's a great character. I think the best
yeah.
way to approach comics is like what you're saying. It's my approach as well. That's Fly Fox.
Oh yeah. The anyway, so right now that's my plan. Of course, now I have this page, which I think looks really good, by the way. I don't know if you happen to
Oh
notice
yeah,
this at all.
yeah, it reads really good. Yeah.
I'm very happy with this page. I like I said, I struggled for a little bit with it because I mentioned last week, the dog passed away, and we've
Hmm.
had lots of chaos here in my house, and it's taken me a little bit to get back on the wagon, or off the wagon, or off the I don't know what the proper term
Back
is,
on the
but
treadmill, back on the hamster wheel, whatever.
back,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I was happy with what I got so far. Hopefully, hopefully Dan is patient with me, because I feel like, I love that panel. I think that panel was really good. It gets across what I want,
Hmm.
which is this guy gets deafened, this woman, his mother, gets killed.
I'll put you. Want me to put you on what single?
Nah,
Okay.
nah,
Yeah.
that's okay. Anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna do this. I got 10 pages of the story to do. If that goes good, I'll keep going on that, as long as Dan's willing to do it, as long as we can do it. But in the back of my mind, so for example, like right now, what I'm working with an idea of, I want to do a Thing story. In the back of my sketchbook, I'm drawing pictures of the Thing. What's the Thing look like? Which
Uh-huh.
version of the Thing do I want? You know,
The Thing is tough. He's always tough. I just now drew one, and it's like, oh my God, I didn't give myself enough space. But the whole point is, I needed him super ultra stocky if I want him to look like the version of the Thing I want to draw. And so it's like, I let myself run out of space down toward his feet.
yep,
So
the Thing is tough.
yeah, yes.
The Thing can be one of the toughest.
Oh yeah.
So really, what I'm gonna do between now and when I start in my sketchbook, I'm gonna work on getting my characters on model.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's tough.
Because
That's tough.
it is tough, and because I know the look I want is the classic Marvel look. Can't call it Marvel 77 and not draw,
Right.
So,
It's like
that's how I want my characters to
that's
look.
what you want. Yeah, right there.
So
Yeah, but I thought the Bronze Tower would be a good name for your
the
personal
publisher.
effort company. Yeah, but
Oh
of
yeah,
course you
I
can't
like it.
publish them. That's the deal. You can't.
Well, yeah, no. That's but
But I mean, you've got your ivory tower and you've got your bronze tower.
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you inspired me with that, and that's
Yeah, it's one of those things. And then you said something about what's his name, Rob Liefeld, almost like
oh yeah,
all of a sudden converging into the same sort of idea. He's decided yeah, I'm going to be doing a little of my own
yeah. He said I'm gonna do it in
walks down memory
2020.
lane. What's
What
good?
did he say? Was it 2024? He's gonna do a Superman fan fiction.
Yeah, exactly. So why not do whatever you want to do? If you're not needing the money in terms of how your time goes with your, if you're not making a living as an artist, so to speak, anymore, you're just out there and got the talent, go ahead and burn a few hours on something you want to do. That's
No
all.
pun intended. No pun intended.
That's yeah, exactly.
Burn.
Burn some hours. I got you. I just now realized it took me forever, but I realized
What you said.
what you were hinting at. Yeah. what was I? Anyway.
Oh, I derailed you. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
you derailed me as I tried to
Well,
get with you.
see, so I think there's something because Cartoonist Kayfabe has
Hmm.
done a lot. So they went over to Japan, and that's a big market in Japan. There's a huge market for like bootleg IP comics, and they went over there and they bought a bunch, and so then they've been doing a kind of a where they spotlight bootleg comics.
Cool. Oh, you mean they're saying, okay, I don't care how big you are. I'm going to do my comic of your character, and I'm going to put it out in terms of like an ash can. And
Well, in Japan, apparently copyright's a little bit different.
hmm.
You can do it, and it's considered like a parody, I guess, or
Oh,
something.
okay, yeah, yeah. Flypox says he's done a second page this week. That he's done at work. Yeah, that doing stuff at work is a real deal. Ask Elmore Leonard if he was alive. He used to everything he wrote in his early part of his career was him going to work early at whatever he was doing. I think he was a copywriter for I forget what, and he would do his own personal project for just an hour, and then start work. So he put
Uh,
in a, and that's good because you go to a place where you say, I'm going to be working, and 90% of it's going to be something I don't want to do, but I'm going to put in 10% at something I do want to do. And that would be a nice bit of addiction. Hey, look at that dog.
yep, got the dog.
It's so typical. I mean, we are so atypical. Almost everybody has their cats on their show. We've got a
So
dog.
I don't think I can flip her over so you can see her face.
No, don't do that to her. She'll she'll get nosebleed.
No. She'll be fine. Hang on. she'll be like, okay. I had to put my pencil shelf down so it didn't hurt her back.
Yeah. Or scatter your
Oh,
pencil.
she didn't like,
Look,
oh, she
doesn't want
she
it.
didn't like that. No, she didn't like that.
What is it? Wrong?
It's like, but what's if I put her in my arms? She's there. Oh no!
Yeah,
No.
she'll let you cuddle with her upside down. Oh, there she is.
No. Oh gosh!
She
Now
doesn't-
she's on my shoulders.
She says, that's wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is operating table.
She about jumped out of my arms. She's crazy. I mean, she jumps in my. I'm sitting in my drawing table and I'm in a drafting chair, and she'll jump straight up in my lap.
She acts like she wants you to do stuff with her.
Yeah.
Daniel Johnson, is that the new girl? Yeah, I guess that's the new dog.
Yes. So this is the destroyer, like I was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Jeez.
that's the era right there.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's our new dog. She comes in here and interferes. That's why I haven't got anything done, Dan.
No, we were just
Well,
I was showing off this page.
I don't know if Dan was listening. I'm back. I'm you know, I mean, so we got so our dog had to go to the animal hospital. I mean, literally like the hospital. And so we got a sympathy card from them, and then today we got a sympathy card from our vet. And all the technicians wrote a little note in it. It was nice, but at the same time you're like, oh man, that's sad,
Yeah, it just makes you say, oh yeah, that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we have doggy school this weekend. Again, we're trying to get her to sit. You saw how good she was at it.
Yeah. Yeah, but dogs do want to make you happy. So
Oh yeah.
and as a matter of fact, they can that schooling kind of stuff that can make them happier than being free, basically having a free mind, because if they make the connection, they're making you happy.
Oh yeah, and I think dogs are kind of like people in some ways, that they kind of like boundaries, even though people would argue with that.
Yeah.
But I think people, and again, I'm not advocating for totalitarianism or anything like that. Oh, there, yeah. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, I was happier with this page than anything I'd drawn in issue or chapter 1. So, but don't that doesn't mean I'm already drawing anything. No, yeah.
Yeah, Flybox has got the opposite. Yeah, getting reminded of a dead pet from the vet that is not current, or just basically as a robot. It's a robot.
I called our vet and told him because since it didn't pass away since
And who knows, you might get the same thing from your vet.
I may. It's okay. Oh,
that sort of automated stuff. You can't blame them too much for it.
No. I mean, my mom gets stuff about my dad, so I mean,
Yeah, well, exactly. I'm getting stuff about Russell that he was never qualified for, but people still trying to sell him, and he's been dead. Let me think how many years he's been dead.
5 years.
Russ died, and I'm looking up at the whiteboard to see the exact date. I've got it written down up here. Oh, there we go. 2017. That's 6 years ago. Gee, many Christmas. It's pretty bad.
How long?
Amazing.
How long after your mom passed?
Almost immediately. Mom died in right at the end of 2016, and Russ died early in 2017. So yeah, right together.
Anyway, trying to change the subject.
Yeah. I know we're getting gruesome.
They're getting a little more morbid. Yeah. It was like this is sad.
Yeah.
I'm not to call those guys. I'm not gonna watch them. It's depressing me.
I'll never watch them again.
Exactly. Anyway, so I forgot where I was going. Yeah. But I've had a little bit of a disruption, but I think I'm back, and I'm hoping to get if Dan is still watching, I'm hoping to get this 2-page thing done this weekend. My wife is going to New York next weekend. Her friend is having some sort of heart procedure. They're not sure exactly what they're doing yet.
I would say work that out before you get me. Hang on, no.
They gotta get in and see what they need to do. They're definitely doing. Yeah, and she lives alone, and she just moved out of Manhattan, and then so Michelle's going up there next weekend. She's going Saturday night when am I taking? Anyway, Saturday morning. I'm taking her to the airport, and then I'm picking her up like Tuesday. So it's a quick trip.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make.
I hope it works out on the heart thing. I guess those heart doctors, I think, are kind of like the guys that have got it really figured out. I mean, it's comparatively speaking, they got a fairly simple thing to work on, a big muscular pump, and they've had years and years of research to tell them how to get in there and do anything they have to do. And I say all that, and I'm avoiding like the plague the idea of having anybody look at me just because I had a little angina attack. I'd rather do anything than go to the doctor.
Yeah, except that it might be something they could fix, Ellis. Says the guy that needs to get his cholesterol checked.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody wants the doctor fiddling with him like any.
You should go. I'm not going.
Yeah, you should go. But not me.
No, yeah. Well.
I still think you're making great progress, says Dan. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
good. Thank you. I literally didn't draw on a page for like a week and a half, and about it. And I mean, part of it was my wife was upset, and part of it was we had a new dog, and there was just lots of stuff going on. I have
The rap on Scott is he doesn't quit. He finishes his stuff, and
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna quit. No,
yeah.
I'm not gonna quit. You know. So I've drawn the
Well,
I've
lots of people
drawn
do. Lots of people do
I've
quit.
drawn this lead down to this. I think I'm gonna pitch it. I mean, it's very rare that I draw a lead down that low, but I think I'm tired of having to gingerly sharpen it, which is good. I got too many leads. I need to use some of them.
I've been watching so many art tutorials for I don't know for how long. I just get on it to see what I especially like the old Jeff Watt Jeff Watt's stuff from ages ago. He's just been at it forever. He was online, I guess, pretty early. But all that information is valuable and all that, but it's like it is, only going to do you so much good until you draw yourself. Worst case, you have someone come back to life on you. What?
Wait, what?
I think we missed one. I haven't been to a doctor in years, and I feel. Oh yeah. There you go. I feel.
Well, I think he was talking about the heart doctor.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Here we go. Here I finally went up the tree far enough. I always agree with Dennis Miller. He said the best medical job is doing autopsies. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quincy. That's the ME maybe. Unless you're like here, they had an ME. I think it was an ME a few years ago that was supposed to be collecting evidence and contaminated everything. And it's like, it's like, oh my gosh, all these cases are now completely corrupt, and
everybody we got to release. We got to release an army of murderers on the public because our cases are no longer any good.
We're gonna open the jails like it's Portland here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of, have you seen those all the crime in these cities where these gangs of people are going crazy?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I think I've brought this up before, the teleportation thing of Larry Niven. And I think they used his term. He called them flash mobs. And that linkage, the social linkages of telephone, social pages, anybody that was going to be anybody was going to be on the streets at that moment. And they knew what they were there for. They were there to screw some stuff up, as they say. They were there. Yeah. They were going to,
Well, and I say this as a guy whose wife is in. Well, she's not in New York City. She's going to. She's flying to Newark, but she's actually going to be in New Jersay. So
stay off the subways.
I think. We're going in a couple of weeks, and I haven't figured out what I'm going to do about that. I may just avoid the subways.
Subways are so cool, though, but. God, all of a sudden they become this place where a random stabbing is occurring weekly. I think I'm going to rework through some Loomis books now that I've been drawing so much. I think it will help me improve even more now that I'm skilled. The Loomis material. Someone ought to just put out a channel where they. Wait a second. Have I died? No, I guess I'm still here. But someone should just put out a Loomis channel where you just. I should be me. I should just take scans of Loomis. And
go through it.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this.
I think that is public domain. Come to think of it,
it might be. Mm-hmm. What I have learned, and Ellis can attest, I have like way too many books, and art, but a lot of art books, and I have some of those books, especially like the figure drawing stuff. Yeah, now with the rat czar.
Yep, they got one.
Anyway, well, that's a big job for a rat czar.
Yeah.
Uh, I have, I've learned if I going through older drawing books, sometimes is useful, especially like anatomy stuff, because stuff will stick that maybe didn't stick the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got drawing books, especially, I mean, Bridgman. I mean, you never hurt yourself going back through Bridgman, I
Yeah.
don't think.
Oh, guys that teach courses that are professional instructors at it, like Marshall McLuhan, Marshall Vanderbilt.
McLuhan?
No, Marshall Van.
What is it? The medium is the message.
Yeah, that's right. Marshall Vandruff, that's on with Proco.
Oh, yeah.
He's really highly respected. He's got some great materials out there. But like he says, as he said it as he was teaching the course I was taking, showed up for, took those notes. You bought the book.
Yeah,
I took my notes from his anatomy book. My notes I published on Lulu, and all the lessons. And he talked about that you just get more every time you go through it. He was surprised himself that he finally understood what this bare ghost of an image that Bridgman had offered up there all of a sudden fully represented. His brain turned on a little more.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's true.
I wish I was kidding, but sadly I'm not. Yeah. Fun with a pencil. Fun about the rats are fun with a pencil.
God, I wish so too.
Fun with the pencil was a super helpful to me. Yeah. Fun with a pencil. He was trying to say, condense it really to everything, but in a very condensed way.
Fun way.
Yeah. I gave up on being an artist because I never could get a girl to let me draw in the nude. Well,
you gotta pay your $4 for the anatomy class.
So yeah, exactly. Got to be in there with Beavis and Butthead, and then be disappointed when it turns out to be a guy. Yeah.
Well,
that evening.
Well, I stopped going to the ones here. Well, one, because I started getting busy, but I went for a couple of years, and I stopped going because they decided to increase enrollment. Which it was the local art guild, and you had to be a member, and you paid. You went, and it was free to go, but we always tipped the model like $2 a piece or something like that. And so some nights, because they got that on top of their pay, I think they got like $60. So, if there were 20 of us in the room, they might leave with $100, which isn't bad for sitting around. Once you get over the fact you have to be naked, but they decided. Well, two things turned me off of it. One is the people that ran it, which were volunteers, but they would take care of getting the model, paying the model, and they would direct the model and take care of the timing. They got a rash of them that were painters, and they wanted to paint, and so they would do
long poses.
Long poses. It's like, okay, tonight this is one pose, and I'm like, I need to draw quick stuff.
Yeah, you need some quick sketch. Yep.
And then we'd take a break, and they would figure out where the model was, but I would move around, so I kind of was getting a little bit of that by moving around during the breaks. But it was still a long pose.
Yeah, I went through the same thing here locally. And it was probably the same outfit, I assume.
Probably at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, and it's like, that's not enough. That's not what I dig.
Yeah, and so then they did a deal. They said, well, we don't have that to get more people. We're going to encourage students to come, and so then they did it just clothed.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, heck, I can see that at the mall. I mean, I was like, well, they're not. If they did it, and I went occasionally, they did it like, I think they did it every other time or something like that. And I would go, and occasionally I'd go and be like, oh man, she's got her clothes on. And they always got female models for whatever reason. But
Yeah,
the
yeah. Yeah, got closed during COVID. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of that sort of activity uh, did die
oh,
due to COVID.
oh yeah, the world is the I have this theory that we live in an alternate universe. and the alternate universe happened on 9/11 because I just convinced like the whole world's just gone to hell since then.
Yeah.
You know, in many I would if I had, you know, my way, we'd turn the clock back. Not super far. I mean, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I could go back to the 50s. Wouldn't complain about that too much, but just like the new millennium, I'm not built for the 21st century,
Hmm.
which
Well,
probably says more about me than.
I was listening to The Coddling of the American Mind, an audiobook, and I decided to quit listening to it because it's basically the kind of stuff you get every day. But he's trying to cure it. And plus, Michael Malice, it was a good deal, $25 for a session. Yeah, yeah. That is pretty good.
Oh yeah, that is a good deal.
But The Coddling of the American Mind is just basically telling how we went wrong with saying, whatever doesn't doesn't kill you makes you weak. We started operating from opposite principles of what
Oh
is
yeah.
obvious. And then right away, his first example is peanut allergies. And it's like,
Oh
well,
yeah.
all these people that are keeping their kids from peanuts, they're going to have them die someday as a 50-year-old man that should have in his youth developed all the tolerance for peanuts he'd ever need by being exposed to them when he was a little tough little kid, you know,
Yeah.
with his.
I've said that about gluten stuff. I know so many
Yeah,
people that are like,
exactly.
I won't eat gluten, and I mean it's and I'm gonna say something controversial here. It's usually people that look like they're at death's door anyway. But
Yeah. Well, yeah.
but
No, that's who died from COVID. People that were,
yeah
don't get sick, man. You're an inch away anyway. And that's the
yeah
reason. I mean, old people have always, you know, he slapped you upside the head saying, "Why'd you bring that sick kid here? Trying to kill me?"
the yeah yeah, so I mean, what he said about peanut allergies, I would say gluten is kind of because the number of
Hmm.
people that are actually allergic to gluten is like minuscule.
Yeah, you don't want to run your country, your world, your universe based on the people that uh, that should not be a dictate. I mean,
Right.
figure out your big movements and your uh,
Yeah, you got to play
in
to your
terms of, well,
strengths.
yeah, your rules. I mean,
We don't play to our strengths in this society. I mean,
yeah.
you can interpret that however you want to, but we do
Hmm.
not play to our strengths.
No,
And
no, we've got
it's the
equity.
opposite.
We're equity now. Yeah, that's right. You've got to what? No, no. And it was
Well,
all around. It was all around us. There were people saying, "What is this meritocracy? What nonsense!" And you'd have this big editorial that you would think nobody's going to write this, and then you'd look up the guy, and by golly, he was associated with a university, so he
yep, exactly.
should be a highly
Poison,
intelligent person. And
poison in the youth.
yeah, yeah, it's like meritocracy. What nonsense! And I mean, at a guy that has a very I have my troubles with meritocracy. I'm too damn lazy not to have trouble with meritocracy. And
No, but that's on you. That's on
it's
you.
on me. It has been throughout my everybody's life. It's on you in terms of like realizing that the world might be created based on a meritocracy. But
But
we got forces at work trying to make it go away.
But you say that, and you say, well, this meritocracy. You use the term victim,
Hmm.
but I think that you are a perfect example though because You're a guy that was kind of caught by the safety net. You say
Oh,
I would
yes.
do better, but I'm lazy. But
Hmm.
you're not starving. Now you're fortunate that you got a house, no offense.
Yeah. No, no, I'm very fortunate.
But
Uh,
I mean, even like my cousin, who couldn't work. She was on, I mean, we do a good job of taking care of people. The problem is people just, they think, well, I don't want to work and I want everything,
yes.
you
Hmm.
know. I mean,
Well,
I think that,
I get along fine without a lot, obviously.
right. Yeah. But,
I just, say, I just don't look at that. I don't say,
well,
so what? It looks like a hobo lives
yeah.
here. Who cares?
The,
I like
well,
hobos.
hobos don't live in houses, Ellis.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
live
okay.
in boxcars.
That's right.
The, yeah, somewhere we went astray, and I, I'll say this. I know Dan said that the '80s. I really think peak. Personally, I think peak. I talk about this at work all the time. The peak for me, like the era, like the maybe the late '90s, when you had a cell phone, but all you did was call on it.
Hmm.
You had maybe dial-up internet, so you had an email, but you weren't tied to it all the time, but you could email stuff. To me, that was like peak technology. Everything since then has just been,
Yeah,
to our detriment.
that's what Dan was saying. The '80s, go back to the '80s. Best tunes, best movies, best TV. That's what all the way up here.
I could go back. I mean,
Best comics.
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's, yeah, yeah.
Well, we've been at it an hour and 6 minutes, Scott. I know you've had such a good time. You can't believe that much time has passed. But
It's like a dream.
it's,
It's passed like a mist.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Um,
you ready to?
yeah,
I
we can call it. We can
I
call it.
just
Hang on, I want to talk to you after we hang up, though.
okay.
But anyway, thank you, everybody. Thanks. Hey, thank you, Dan. Thank you for not. Thank you for your support and everything. I'm having a blast. I hope it shows on the page. Um, you know.
I could do, yeah, yeah. He liked the '80s when he was a kid because I could do all kinds of stupid things, and it would not be captured on camera. I
Uh,
can't tell you how many horrific ideas of me being caught on camera I could run through my mind right now. That it's like, well, I'm still being caught on camera. What am I talking about? Yeah,
you were eating grapes the other day.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Well,
Okay.
okay.
Hey,
Well,
thanks everybody for checking it out, for joining us, and we'll be back next week, same time, same bat time, and watch Spinguli this weekend and see the mole people.
the mole people, which is cool. It's got its moments.
I need to. I definitely want to watch it. Dan's been keeping me updated on the on what's coming up on Spinguli, and I appreciate it.
See, for Fly Fox, the '90s was that. You know what? My '90s, when I put out my little indie comic book, the middle '90s were pretty nice. Okay,
There you go.
okay, okay. In broadcast. Thanks, everybody.